This is Trig Identities part number 19, and now we're going to finish what we started in Trig Identities part 18. Okay, so what does the sign of A plus B actually equal? Okay, first of all, we're going to say that the letter C equals A plus B. Okay, we're going to replace A plus B with C. So now we're going to say that the sign of A plus B equals the cosine of 90 degrees minus C. Okay? Now, if we do that, then we can replace the C with A plus B, because A plus B is actually C. Okay? Now then, once we do that, we're going to multiply A and B by -1. That's what we're going to do. So now we got the sine of A plus B equaling cosine of 90 degrees minus A minus B. Now we're going to group the 90 degrees minus A. We're going to group this. So the sine of A plus B now equals the cosine of 90 degrees minus A minus B, and this was all grouped together. Now that 90 degrees minus A is one angle. Okay? You could say it would be B or C or any of the letter of the alphabet. That 90 degrees minus A is one angle. B is another angle. So this looks an awful lot like this. Okay, if you study this carefully, this looks like this. Now, doesn't that look familiar to you? Of course it looks familiar to you, because this is actually this. And this is what we covered several videos ago back in the Trig Identities videos. This is this. They're exactly the same. Now what does this equal? It equals all this. We already established that in previous Trig Identities videos. If you want to go back there and see for yourself, you'll see that the cosine of A minus B equals all of this. So what are we going to do? We're going to replace cosine this, which is actually this. We're going to replace this or this. Either one, you want to, it doesn't matter whether you say we're replacing this or replacing that. It doesn't matter, because now the sine of A plus B is going to equal all this. Okay, so now we're going to say that the sine of A plus B equals the cosine of 90 degrees minus A times cosine B, plus the sine of 90 degrees minus A times sine B. That's what we're going to say. Now, couldn't we replace this term right here and this term right here? What is the cosine of 90 degrees minus A? Well, do you remember what I said in my previous video? Got to get my notes here. What is the cosine of 90 degrees minus A? Well, it's the sine of A. That's what it is. Okay? So now we've replaced the cosine of 90 degrees minus A with the sine of A. So now we got the sine of A times the cosine of B. Now what about this sine of 90 degrees minus A? Couldn't we replace that? Of course we can. Now we can say it's the cosine of A times the sine of B. And that's where we get all this from. So now we can say that the sine of A plus B equals the sine of A times the cosine of B plus the cosine of A times the sine of B. And that's where we get all that from. All this is just replacing certain terms with other terms. Okay? In other words, you're taking out certain apples out of a barrel and replacing them with the same type of apples. So you take 3 apples out of the barrel and you replace them with 3 apples that are identical to the other ones. And that's the way that works. So that's how you get the sine of A plus B. Now what about the sine of A minus B? Well, we'll deal with that in my next video. I will tell you more in a future video, so I want you to stay tuned.